Ken warned me that on top of that hill, it was very eerie, the place was different, and no one dared to take the job there. However, I am the stubborn type, the type that doesn't believe in things like this. The story I am telling happened a few months ago, in an apartment in Georgia located in a hilly area. I work as an air conditioning service technician in a fairly well-known company. I can't disclose the name of the company, because anyone could guess it since this company has been around for a long time. We ourselves choose where our services are needed, whether it's at home, in an office, or at a school, through a system. In short, if there is a place equipped with air conditioning, that's where we will work. At one point in the system, there is a request for air conditioning service located in the workers' quarters near the tourist area, and I see that this place is situated far up a hill known as the Haunted Hill, but that is not its actual name. I do not know the way there, so I asked my coworker. I was surprised that most of them rarely take jobs there. No one knows how to get there except for a friend of mine named Kenny, so I contacted Ken. The first thing he said to me was, "Are you sure you want to go there? I'm not trying to scare you, Max, but beyond that it's quite scary. If you want to go there, you need to be prepared." I just ignore what Ken said because he likes to joke around, but I'm not in the mood for jokes right now, so I didn't ask why he said that. "Ken, be serious, don't joke around. I just want to know the way there. Don't joke around, Ken." When I said that, Ken interrupted me and said, "I'm not joking, you know. They said that there was once an incident that happened at the location where you want to go, but it's up to you if you want to go. Just don't say I didn't warn you." After that, Ken gave me the location and said that to go there, I need to take an old road because it's faster to reach the top. There is a new road to go up there, but through this new road it's slow to arrive, so I took the old road. This road is rarely passed by people except for four-wheeled vehicles or lorries. After I got the location from Ken, I went to that location using a car, and this should be my final destination for the day's work. I went to the Haunted Hill and it took 35 minutes. Starting at 3:15 p.m., I climbed and estimated to arrive around for 10 p.m. I planned that upon arrival, it would only take me 30 minutes to service the air conditioner. I just needed to fix a small problem with the compressor and replace the filter, but for some reason, when I climbed the hill, it felt very far. Moreover, the area where I climbed had an untarred road, unlike a regular road, and was located on a cliff. This road is very quiet. Only the sound of my car engine and the sound of the wind from outside can be heard. Throughout the journey uphill, there was only one four-wheeled vehicle passing by, which was the vehicle I was driving, so you can imagine how quiet the road was. The journey continued uphill, and at 5 p.m. I arrived at the workers' quarters. I sighed, it's already late. I need to work quickly, or I'll have to go down in the dark road conditions. I parked my vehicle in front of the quarters. From outside, I can see that this building is an old quotes, with only one block and 4 levels. I looked around the parking area. There weren't many cars, only 3 cars at the same time. I saw a curtain in a house on the 4th floor being opened, and it seemed like a child peeking at me from above. I prepare my tools before contacting customers who request their air conditioning units to be serviced. This customer's name is Mr. Limit, but that's not his real name. He took me up to the 4th floor. As usual, when dealing with this customer, we engaged in a bit of small talk, as people say, so it won't be awkward. There is no elevator here, so we had to take the stairs. As we climbed the stairs to the 4th floor while chatting, I asked Mr. Limit, "Are there many people living here?" He replied, "Most of the workers placed here don't stay overnight. They rarely come back. All 40 houses here have belongings, but most of them are unoccupied, so they choose to live elsewhere closer to the city. There are less than 15 people living here." When we reached the 4th floor, Mr. Limit showed me the aircon compressor located in the pantry area and said, "Here it is, just carry on, and if you need anything, just call me. I have some work downstairs." I agreed and continued with my work. When I work, my tools are scattered on the floor: spanner, screwdriver. I started to service the air conditioner. Suddenly I heard the spanner that I placed on the floor being dragged. You can imagine the sound of the iron spanner being dragged on the floor. I quickly turned around and noticed a child dragging my spanner to the end of the corridor before taking it into the furthest house. I walked to the end of the corridor to retrieve the spanner. At that moment, a voice came from inside the house saying,
"Come here. Come here."
Max, Mr. Limit called me from behind, startling me. He greeted me suddenly, and I explained what had happened. Mr. Limit said, "It's okay, let me take care of it." Mr. Limit went into the house and came out. "Take this wrench and finish the job quickly. It's almost night." The clock showed 5:35 in the evening, and I continued with my work. After completing my task, I asked Mr. Limit to sign to prove that I had finished my work. Then, I hurried to leave before getting into the vehicle. Mr. Limit advised me to drive carefully and to be cautious when encountering humans or non-humans. I was shocked when Mr. Limit said that. I then got into the vehicle, and suddenly heavy rain and strong wind started, and the day began to darken. I also followed the path that I had passed through earlier, and here is where I experienced a horrific event. Firstly, I felt that the journey to go downhill was very far, and I noticed that the surrounding area was pitch black. This darkness was different. It was extremely dark, to the point that even the car headlights couldn't illuminate the road ahead. In short, it was as if I was driving with my eyes closed because it was so dark. I also followed the path that I had passed through earlier, and here is where I experienced a horrific event. Firstly, I felt that the journey to go downhill was very far, and I noticed that the surrounding area was pitch black. This darkness was different. It was extremely dark, to the point that even the car headlights couldn't illuminate the road ahead. In short, it was as if I was driving with my eyes closed because it was so dark. My car, at the same time, felt heavy as if there was a heavy object on it. Imagine I was going downhill. I was not pressing the brakes but pressing the accelerator, as if I was driving on a normal highway. I started to feel scared while driving that night. I just resigned myself. At the same time, I smelled a very foul odor. At first, I thought it was the smell of the tires, but I ignored it. And the longer this smell lingers, it feels more rancid and smells like something burning. I can't stand it. At this moment, I already feel scared. I don't know where my car is. I don't know where I am. And the most terrifying thing is when I realize behind the back seat of my vehicle, there are two figures, a mother and a boy. I am very scared at this moment. All I can do is pray. I realized that their skin was black and reddish, like burn victims suddenly came out of the child's mouth. "Brother, I was called in earlier. Why don't you go in now? I'll follow you home." And at that time I only prayed until I didn't know what I was saying in my prayer. What I know is that I want to go down from this hill and get out of here. I don't know if I will get out of this path that I know. I press the gas pedal and go down the hill. I look at the clock. It's already 7:15 in the evening. I surrender driving until I arrive at the foot of the hill. I see the light from afar. I feel relieved when I arrive at the foot of the hill and try to muster the courage to speak to the creepy thing hitching a ride in the car. I say, "Enough, you can get off here." The vehicle felt light and my vision was no longer dark like before, so I drove out of the foothill. That night, I didn't go back home. Instead, I stayed at a restaurant. People say if you encounter such things, don't go straight home, so I sat inside that restaurant. Roughly an hour and a half, I sat while drinking coffee and thinking about what happened to me. At around 8:40 minutes, I left the restaurant hoping that it wouldn't follow me back home. Luckily, nothing happened at my house. The next morning, I told Ken about it, and he said, "Huh, that's you. I told you not to believe, right? You've been caught." Ken said that it's really a horror there. Supposedly, there was an incident where a worker and his child perished because their house caught fire. According to the story, his child liked playing with fire, and both of them perished. They lived on the 4th floor. Until now, no one is on the 4th floor. I was shocked and said, "Huh, then who did I see on the 4th floor?" Ken told me that's not a person. No one dares to go up to the 4th floor. Do you realize that? Mr. Limit even went down after he dropped you off, because he didn't want to stay there for long. Most of those who live there are often disturbed to the point that they prefer to stay somewhere else, a little farther away. Those who still live there will not come out after 6 p.m. They will just stay inside the house. Your fate, Max. That was the last time I went there. After this, I will not service the air conditioning there anymore. Even though they say it's not cold at all, I will not go there. After this, I will carefully consider the places I go. That was my experience working at a workers' quarters located on Ghost Hill, but not its real name, in a certain area in Georgia. Thanks for watching my video.